G'day fellas, welcome to a casted game between Adney, who spawns in the west of the map playing as the Rus, and his opponent, spawning in the south of the map, or rather the east of the map, it's the Viper. You know him as the greatest of all time, and finally he brings his prowess over from the Age of Empires 2 community into the Age of Empires 4 community. Very curious to see how he's going to be playing this game. Let's take a look and see exactly what he's up to. He's going to be playing the French, so we'll tune in with him. We're going to be watching from his perspective and just seeing exactly how he plays. Now, for anybody unfamiliar, in my opinion, at the moment, the French are one of the strongest civilizations. However, on water maps, I would be thinking a little bit differently about that. So if we take a look behind the base of the Viper, you can see that there's a pond, okay, but there is no deep sea fish here. The same goes for Adney, okay? If we take a look at Adney, sorry, there we go. If we take a look at Adney's behind his base, he's also got the same situation happening for him. But one of the things to note, though, he needs to bring this back to his base rather quickly, otherwise his explorer may go the way of the dodo. But in the middle, okay, is where the deep sea fish are, and this is exactly where you want to be expanding to on this map. Now, keep in mind, it's early in the beta. Early in the game, because this technically, I don't think this is a beta, I think this is just the creator preview. So it's early in the creator preview, players don't really know the maps that well, so they're not going to know that this map's got, you know, deep sea fish in the middle and that they should be fast expanding out over here, because technically, yes, they should be. It is the best way to take advantage of all the resources that you've got, but nonetheless, we'll keep track of Viper. We'll see exactly what he's up to. You can see that he is looking towards that age up. Couple villages on wood, though. I'm curious to see exactly what he looks to do with this wood. We don't have a mill out just yet from him. Has he scouted? He has scouted out this this hunt. So if he was looking to place down a mill on the hunt, it's definitely an option for him. He does actually run into the scout and looking to actually kill the sheep from his opponent, managing to get off the first hit. He's going to need 2 more hits to be able to get it off. There's the second hit coming in. Is he going to be able to get the third one in? Very, very smart of Viper to be able to do this, because by doing this, he's going to be denying a sheep from his opponent. So now that sheep is going to be on the ground, stuck on the ground, as well as that, Adney is now not going to be getting the +5 gold that comes by having that sheep. So keep in mind, okay, if you're playing as the Rus, you've got access to the bounty system, and you want to be accumulating as much bounty as possible. You want to be getting up to that 250 bounty as quickly as possible, and now you're down 5. So it would have been smart of Adney to actually go back and hit that sheep. As Viper was swinging for it, that probably would have been the best move, but nonetheless, Adney looking to drop down a second house now in his base. Also got this this hunt up here to the north with the hunting cabin, and do note that there are actually multiple scouts out for Adney here. So he's got 3 scouts up towards the north, single scout down towards the south, so doing a pretty decent job at this stage. Let's take a look over at the Viper, see what he's up to. He's about to click up to the 4th age. There we go now with the French with the School of Cavalry. Going to be the age up of choice. He's aging up at 3 minutes. Okay, now there's a single villager on this landmark. It looks like we've got 3 more coming out, so going to be able to age up probably just shy of 5 minutes with 4 villagers on that landmark. So we'll make sure that we pay attention to it, see how he goes. Now, keep in mind, the French are an incredibly strong civilization, and part of the reason why is because of their villager train speed. So if we have a look here, Viper's currently sitting on 16 villagers, about to be sitting on his 17th villager, and his opponent probably going to be down a villager. So if we go take a look, where is Adney? 16 versus Adney's actually on 17, is that right? Jeez, okay. Drongo's in another world, apparently, it seems, because that's very curious that Adney would actually have more villagers than Viper when Viper's trading speed for villagers is higher. But Adney putting a little bit of pressure now onto Viper. You see that his scout is going to be going down here, but he did did idle the age up landmark a fair bit of a while. Viper making a bit of a mistake going out for this early mill on the deer carcasses, but not realizing that there was going to be potential pressure coming in from the Rus player. So definitely a bit of learning that Viper's going to need to do. You see Adney actually doing a wonderful job in the early game of just taking out all of these Gaia units. We can see he's got up to 280 now, so doing a really decent job. I'd be curious to know exactly how much he's scouted out. He's scouted out these guys and killed them. There is a deer hunt down here to the south that he's yet to spot. I say that, but it looks like he's about to run into it now. And when he doesn't, he's just picked up so many of these sheep as well throughout the game. You take a look up towards the north. He's dropping down a wooden fortress over here. This is really smart. Adney is actually playing incredibly well. I don't know too much about Adney. Obviously, when I came in with my introduction, I didn't really give him much of an intro, and you can actually see the micro that he's got. He's splitting up his scouts onto each of those individual deers. Viper now reaching the second age. Adney going to be going up with the Kremlin, so going to be buffing up that wood gather rate as well. Adney looking very, very good. A great opening for him. So far, this is the perfect game for Adney. Let's take a look at the Viper and see what he's up to. He is indeed training up one of those Royal Knights. They are the unique knight for the French, and that's going to enable him to put out a little bit of pressure. You can actually see the direction that he is sending it as well, just to provide a bit of backup down towards the south here where he's got his mill. Adney now reaching the feudal age and cleaning up the majority of the deer down at these hunts. So Adney up to 340 bounty now. Incredible amount of bounty. So if he collects this this huntable boar and this other huntable boar, where is it? Down here. He's going to be sitting on 500, which is the maximum amount. And a very curious wall coming in here from Adney. I don't really know what this wall is all about. Obviously looking to defend his gold, but it just seems like a very strange looking wall. He's walling, you know, from the direction of the west over here. Does he think there's going to be an invasion of some sorts, my friends? Adney, he's playing the French, not the Mongols. You might want to think a little bit more about the opposite direction, my friend. But nonetheless, Viper now coming in with a couple of knights, Royal Knights, heading out towards his opponent. Drop down an archery range as well. We don't see that second town center, which is meta now for the French player. I'd be curious to see how Viper's play does evolve over these couple of days where we watch him begin to learn, and now a couple of scouts getting in amongst the mix. Viper doing his best to just micro out his own scout, making sure it doesn't take too much damage there. Doing a pretty decent job as well, and Viper looking like he's in a commanding lead at this point in the game. Just simply because he's able to keep his opponent in the base. He's forced out these walls. You might not be thinking it's too much, but I tell you what, it's pretty darn decent. Now, neither player has gone for water at this point. I would have expected a little bit of water on this map, but as obviously mentioned earlier, players are still learning all the maps. That, you know, the unfortunate thing about this wall, it's not complete, and that's really going to hurt, because Viper now begins to move. You know, a connecting wall onto this wood line really would save Adney a lot of hassle at this point. If he can somehow get that wall up, he's going to be in a great position. And now he's going to be investing 175 wood into this wooden fortress, and you really got to ask the question, is that really worth it? Is that really what you want to be doing when you could probably just extend this wall out a little bit further, and Viper's not even going to be able to come in behind here? Now you're wasting wood for that. So a difficult question. Viper now really moving in and looking to try and finish Adney off. I definitely think by the fact we're seeing archers coming out here as well, indicates to me that Viper is thinking about you know, going for a killing blow here in the early game. We'll take a look from his perspective, just see how much line of sight there is. You do see the scout running around as well with the Royal Knights, managing to force a few idle villagers here. But I think Viper's actually realized that his enemy is not going to be able to fit all of his villagers in the wooden fortress, the wooden castle. What's it called? I can't actually remember. I think it's the wooden fortress. But plenty of damage coming out. Take a look how much damage is getting done onto those knights. Keep in mind, these wooden fortresses do indeed fire more arrows depending on how many villagers they've got garrisoned inside of them. Now we've got some the villagers taking a little bit of damage, and I think the wooden castle, or wooden fortress rather, is out of range from these archers, which means that the archers can isolate, can force these villagers off the gold mine, essentially rendering this wooden fortress completely useless. So even though there's the potential to garrison inside of it, you're not going to be able to actually gather from this gold mine because the archers are going to be able to deny it. Do we see them potentially looking at denying it? He has been playing a very defensive opening. We don't see any military production. We actually see the first barracks now going down for Adney, but it is at the 8-minute mark in the game, or 8-minute 50 mark, losing more villagers now down towards the south part of his base, and you really got to ask the question, was it worth putting this down? I feel like maybe if you just extended out your walls a little bit further like that, or maybe even put a your fortress on this side, but then you know that you risk getting idled from over here. So you really got to think about where you place this wooden fortress down. Maybe just on top of the gold mine is probably the best decision for Adney. But now a couple of spears going to be coming out. Adney, that is not the correct counter against these archers, my friends. But now we've got some scouts that are going to be bringing in some food, some deer carcasses back into the base, and he's got to be careful before he loses those because they might drop down a little bit early. I guess it's always nice to have them close to the base ideally, but nonetheless, Viper looking like he's in a great spot. We'll take a look back at his base, see how he's doing great on housing population. Plenty of villagers out amongst it on the map. You can see just how well he's doing on macro. Still got plenty of resources in the bank, going to be able to get out plenty more villagers. Already beginning to drop down farms as well. This is something that I've noticed Age of Empires 2 players doing. They do transition into their farms quite early. So when Viper just could have taken it, and it looks like the game's already been called. Viper just coming out with the victory already. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're unfamiliar with the Viper, I'll leave his links in the comments, or rather in the description. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.